In this lesson, you will be able to represent relations as ordered pairs, tables, mappings, and graphs. Okay, so just to get started, the domain, okay, here is the first coordinate of the ordered pair. So for example, in x, y, the domain here is your x value, okay? Then the range is going to be your y value. So the y is the range. The relation is a set of ordered pairs. Okay, so for example, if you have an ordered pair and another ordered pair, you have a set of ordered pairs, which is called a relation. Okay, so given the relation here, we want to find the domain and we want to find the range. Okay, so we just said the domain is the x values. Okay, so the domain was going to be 3, 1, -2. 3, 1, -2. Okay, so that's how you would write the domain. The range here is going to be 2, 6, and 0. Okay, so we wrote the set of domain and of the range. Okay, so the relations can be shown 3 different ways. You can write them as a table, as a map, or as a graph. Okay, so here is my relation. Okay, so I can write it as a table, an XY table. So the first ordered pair is 2, 1. The second one is -1, 3. And the fourth one is 0, 4. Okay, you can also write it using mapping. So here would be the x and here would be the y. Okay, so here I have my domain and it's going out to the range 2, 1, 0, 3. I'm sorry, -1, 3. And this one should be up a little bit, 0, 4. Okay, and then the last way is to graph all 3 points. Okay, so here you might see a table that's horizontal. Okay, so if I want to write the relation, here is my first xy point. So I can write it as -1, 3. Then the next one, 0, 6. 4, -1. And finally 7, 3. Okay, so that's the relation. Remember that the domain is only the x values. And the range is going to be the y values. Okay, so here we want to show how we can do mapping. Okay, so for example, if we have something that repeats, we don't have to write it twice. Okay, so the first one here is going to be my x and my y. So my domains here are -1, 0, 4, and 7. Okay, so -1 is paired up with 3. So -1, 3, my x and my y together. 0 is going to go with the number 6. 4 is with -1. And then here 7 is also with 3. So I don't have to rewrite it again. I can just scoot it right up to 3. Okay? All right, so pause the video for a moment and try this one on your own. Okay, I'm just going to cross these off right here. Okay, so what you should have got is the domain of the relation. Okay, so the domain are the x values. So you should have had 2, 4, 3, 4. Okay, try this one as well. Okay, so what you should have had for the range is 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so here I have the inverse of the relation. Okay, so for every ordered pair, x, y, there must be a yx. Okay, so I'm going to invert every xy for yx. I'm going to flip the domain and the range. Okay, so the inverse, for example, if I have -1, -6, the inverse would be y first, -6, and then x, -1. Okay, -4, 3. 2, 3. 4, I'm sorry, let me erase this. The inverse would be 2 and then 4. Okay, so I'm just flipping them. Okay, so if we see the relation up here, mine looks a a little bit messed up when I put it in here, so I'm going to rewrite it. Okay, so the relation right here that's in the mapping is the original. Okay, so if we look at the original just to show how it would look as a map, -1 in the original is paired up with -6. 3 is paired up with -4. 3 is also paired up with 2, so I'm going to keep the same 3, put it with 2, and then 4 with 2. Okay? So here, if I wanted to map the inverse, okay, so I'm going to map the inverse here. So my inverse is -6, 1. So -6 with 1. -4 with 3. -4, 3. 2 with 3. So this 2 is also going to go up to 3. And my 2 is also going to hit 4, so 2 with 4. Okay? So this would be right here the inverse map. Okay, so try this one for a moment. I want you to write the inverse of this mapping. Okay? So if you look on your paper, you can see it a little bit better. This -1 should be up here. This 2, and then this is a -3. Okay? So if we want to write the original first, I would have -3, 4, -3, 3, -3, -1, and -3, 2. Okay, so this is the original. The inverse then, if I invert the x and the y, I now have 4, -3, 3, -3, -1, -3, and 2, -3.